Hello and welcome to the Keiwear Show, where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. I am your host, Keisha Mayo. And as I always say, we have a great show for you on today. Today we have David Quinones. He's the founder and CEO of Holy Ground Music Group, and he's also a producer. Welcome to the show, David, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation. Please introduce yourself to my viewers.
What's up, Keisha? This is I'm David Quinones, um, formerly the founder of Holy Ground Music Group, which was a marketing and promotion company that was for film and for music and gospel, R&B and hip hop, and now I'm a film producer. That's who I am now.
That's awesome, David. And I tell you, I'm so grateful to God for our connection. You know, we met some years ago and God connected us, and we're still connected today. You have proven yourself to be, a brother, a true friend of mine. You've always uplifted me, encouraged me, and pushed me to greatness, and always gave me advice. And I'm just so grateful to you, and I'm so glad you're on today. But we're gonna focus on you, and we're gonna start off with, where are you from, and how was your upbringing?
I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. What's up? You know how that go. From Brooklyn, New York, Red Hook Projects. My upbringing was, any kid in the ghetto, school, streets, change, music, and the streets was my guide. And I found God. And after I found God, everything else started to work.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you wasn't raised in the church?
I wasn't born into the church.
Okay.
So me being born into the church was not really me being born in the church.
Okay, so who brought you to the church?
So I didn't start really going to church frequently by myself until I was like 15, 16. The times before that, I would go for Easter.
So you was one of the Easter saints.
I was the East. Yo, you gotta get dressed. I had a sailor suit, all that good stuff. Right. As a kid, but I started going to church after my mother passed away frequently. Like as my mother was sick, I was 15. As my mother was sick, I was going into the transition of starting to go to church because my friend Donald, who's my pastor now, actually
shout out to Pastor Donald Francis.
Yeah, Donald Francis, shout out. He was a drummer there, and we went to school together. We went to junior high school together, and he was my aunt's student, and we were close. But Donald was more, hey man, how you doing? He was fly, he had clothes, stuff like that. So that was a draw because he was into music. So me and my other boy John, who's my partner now to this day, I have like lifelong friendships with these two guys, right? And we're going into if I want to be a rapper, but I love music as well. So one day Donald asked me to come to the church. I said, boy, I'm going to church. I don't do church. You don't do that. What are you talking about? And there was all types of stigmas on top of that. But when he finally got me to go to this concert, I enjoyed it. There was singing, of course, and Don was playing the drums. And then he asked me to come down and sit next to him one day and asked me to come back. I came back on Sunday. He was playing the drums. Then he started to play the keys. And when he started to play the keys, that was an opening for me to play the drums. So he started to play the drums. His house, his mother had him with drums in his house. He was the only person I knew with drums in the Red Hook Projects apartment. He started teaching me, how to play the drums or whatever. And then I started to veer off and start learning different things like that. But we came up together in music. And,
okay. And I know you also play the keys as well. So was this like self-taught, or was it just a gift you always had?
That was self-taught. When I was in school, in music class, I played the trumpet. Wow. So that was, the all that. That's what I was doing that until Donald asked me to play the drums. And when he asked me to play the drums, I got to the drums. I learned my rudiments. I did what I was supposed to do, but I wasn't a reader. I didn't read music. So that's where I was at. And he transitioned into the keyboard. And when he transitioned into the organ, I started to learn the keyboard by listening, by, somebody showing you little things here and there, triad chord, different hymns. You start like that. You learn your first song. Everybody learns middle C. And when they first learned middle C, the song at the time was like Lean on Me. So dun, 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 stuff like that. You're going back and forth. So you learn little things like that. And as you go, you start to learn technically as you grow. So,
and you're a member now of Pastor Francis Church, right?
Yeah, I'm the organist at Pastor Francis Church.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome, David. And I know you're also a producer. You have been producing hip hop, R&B, and gospel.
So,
was that always a dream of yours to become a producer?
So in the spirit of 50 years of hip hop, I'm proud to say that I'm part of hip hop. My mother, when I was a little kid, my mother grew me up on Motown and different R&B things as a little kid. But I had Rapper's Delight and I had Christmas Rapping by Curtis Blow. So we know Rapper's Delight is by Sugar Hill Gang, hip hop, the Hibbit. And Christmas Rapping by Curtis Blow was towards the night before Christmas. And all through Holding Out, Wait, Hold, Let's Play It Out, Hit It. So that was, the music to next. I think it's Too Close. That was my introduction to rap music. So you learn these different things as you go. I got two little brothers and an older sister. My sister started rapping before I did.
Wow.
And so I gotta shout her out because she's gonna kill me if I don't. Her name is Chili T.
Chili T.
And she was down with DJ Young and Nut in a group called Five Alive and Real Projects. But when the park jams used to come out and everybody used to rap in front of the DJ, my sister was doing that.
Wow.
And she was writing rhymes, and I was her partner. I was her backup in the house when she was in the mirror. So I would learn the lyrics, and I would be her backup. The person that will recite the raps with you. So that
was like one of those, the 5 heartbeats when you would pick up the paper.
Well, she was like, I miss Chili T, so. I'm not gonna get up here and do that. But that's what it was. And it introduced me into the cadences of what hip hop is. So now I'm listening to the message. And now we in the 80s and all these records is coming out. Rakim, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, Africa Bambaataa, KRS-One, so forth and so on. But Rakim and KRS-One changed the game. Melly Mel and them was in that, they was in the party vibe. But KRS and Rakim started talking about things that we are familiar with in the ghetto, which was how we're living and trying to bring you to a better mind as a Black man. So that's what made everybody get interest. And then boom, you got Run DMC, you got all these different avenues. So you get to Crush Group. You get to Crush Group, now you got Fat Boys, you got this, you got that. So all of that stuff happening at one time. As a rapper, you get in flux with it. So it takes over your mindset, your life. So hip hop was my life. Like,
right.
Hip hop turned into rap turned into gangster rap turned into poetry, like all that stuff.
What made you want to become a producer?
Because we ain't have no producer.
Okay. And for the people who don't know, what is the job of the producer?
Yeah, you're talking about music. So as a music producer, when I was rapping, me and my partner had to make our own beats. So this is not encouraging anyone, but we used to cut school. This is how it was, right? It wasn't no social media. So we had to cut school and go make these beats until we went to the studio. And we were street kids, we was hustling, we was selling drugs, whatever we were doing. And we had someone over us named Calvin. We called him Big Head, who took us out the streets and had us do music and found our passion. And then, I'm tinkling on the keys as I'm learning in church. I was told you could do whatever you do, but make sure you hear them Sunday. So this is what I'm doing. And I'm turning those little, yes, I'm a believer and Trouble Don't Last Always. I'm turning that into hip hop. Ding, 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 whatever we're doing. And as a rapper, the cadences happen. So, you know, we started linking. Then I found out that I was a better producer than a rapper. So I started being a better producer. And then eventually church started to set in. And when church started to set in, I had to choose. Because now it's not no longer I'm saved, I believe that there's a Jesus Christ or whatever. Now I'm being delivered because the songs are starting to set residence to me. So now I have to choose which one I want to go to. And the thing that most sat with me at the time was gospel music. And I still was in hip hop a little bit, but I was there for the music, not so much as the lyrics. But as far as the gospel is concerned, that's what led me into getting into choirs. I was a part of a choir called John Cradle and True Deliverance. I was part of the first choir as a musician, John Davison, Powerful Praise. And then we went from there to, I was a musician, but I wasn't as skillful as Melvin Crispell, Roger Jean, Jesse Moore, all these guys that was playing at the time, Thomas Hammond, Butch Haywood. So now I'm learning church musicianship under the tutelage of all these people, and I'm watching. You know, I just say, let me just get into this choir, and that's how I got delivered.
And before that, you were singing in the choir before you became a musician.
No, I was never singing in the choir.
I saw you in that video.
You talking about Melvin Crispell?
Yeah.
That's not where I started at.
Oh, okay.
Melvin Crispell was in 2010. That was in 2010. We talking about the 90s.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in the 90s as a playing. Yeah, I'm 90s. I'm playing. I'm directing in my local church. I'm doing that. But once I start going into these different choirs and going to these concerts where the professional people are at, that's where all of that started to happen. I got into Melvin Crispell because I took my record company skills and brought that to gospel, where I started Holy Ground. When I started Holy Ground, I started to manage, market, and promote. And there was a friend of mine named Jonathan Hall that started this gospel company called I'm Not Gospel Music. And I'm Not Gospel Music had Angela Hall, the Voices of Promise, Melvin Crispell Jr. And at that time that you're referring to, Melvin Crispell Jr. had a choir called Testimony. Right. And we went down south and we created this recording. And Melvin said, David, you want to sing in the choir? I said, yeah, I want to sing in the choir. So that's how I ended up getting in, singing all my favorite songs like Jesus Is My Help.
Oh, man. He had all the hits, right?
Yeah, for me, Melvin is, God rest his soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Melvin was different. He was different. You know.
Yeah. I missed those days back then, boy. That's when we really had, choirs and groups, and I mean them songs really hit home. You know, being delivered and encouraged with those songs from back in the day. I miss those days.
They wrote songs, to be truthful. Melvin stems from the hitmakers of Institutional Church of God in Christ. Those churches, Butch Haywood was a phenom, a blessed individual that taught himself and never read music. He just listened and then went, and God blessed him like that. So Butch Haywood, shout out to Butch Haywood, Isaiah Butch Haywood. He's the godfather of gospel music in the Brooklyn essence, it's the New York essence of organ playing. This man, you can hear his sound when they say New York gospel or New York is in your face, it's driving. That comes from Butch Haywood.
Yeah, he's always been up there like that. I mean, everybody shows him so much love and respect like that.
He's a legend.
I want to talk about you though. When did you establish Holy Ground Music?
Holy Ground Music Group was a passion of mine because I didn't want to. I saw gospel artists coming into trying to sing like I was, and I was from the record industry as well. And everybody knows that the record industry is a cutthroat industry. So I didn't want artists to come out here and be these artists because there's a business side to it. I wanted them not to be in trouble. I didn't want them to get jerked or get used for money and stuff like that. So I wanted to be over them to try and guide them in a way to get to wherever they had to go business wise. So that's how I ended up. Holy Ground Music Group started as a management company in gospel music, and then it went into marketing and promotion. And later on, I did award shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
But
who are some of the artists that you worked with?
mostly New York artists. I started out with Mike Willis and the Call, James Powell, Andre Bird.
I remember when you was working with Andre Bird.
Yeah, Andre Bird was crazy. Andre Bird. I was sitting on the shoulders with a couple other people. I was able to market and kind of manage Melvin Crispell and his wife, Tanisha Crispell, who passed away as well. I rest her soul. And then I was doing gospel rap, so Redeem and Jarrell Golden. And after a while, with these artists, as every artist, managers are sometimes used as a stepping stone. So when you're in the trenches, it's okay. But when you get to where you think you're going or where you want to be at, artists sometimes tend to feel like they need to go somewhere else to get better guidance, or they get to the bag or something like that. So that kind of turned me off from it. That side of the business turned me off, and I stopped managing, and I started to concentrate on like stages. Like I did something called the New York Elite Artist Showcase.
Right, I was gonna ask about that. In LA, right? You did that in LA.
Yeah, during the Stella Awards. So we did like a stage or a concert show that new artists would come to sing or whatever they're doing a part of that time. And during the Stella Awards or wherever it's at, we would showcase them. So if the Stella Awards is Saturday, we'll be on a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday before the Stella Awards.
Okay, now tell me about Favor Ain't Fair. Is that a separate award show?
So Favor Ain't Fair is a show. Before all of these award shows, right, God put on my heart that I wanted to honor people that was in our communities that wasn't getting the recognition. And 9 times out of 10, at that time, the word through every preacher's mouth was favor, and how favor is not fair. God gives it to you, and at the end of the day, that's what you have. You know what I'm saying? You have favor, and you can't do nothing about it. So my thing was, all right, Favor Ain't Fair awards. Everybody that's showcasing their affairs or showcasing what they're doing, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a community activist, not just gospel music. My idea was to push the people that, that wanted to give you I wanted to highlight who you were. So like that. So my first person that I started with, one person, that was Jawan Martin. Jawan Martin is a known musician that played for, local artists like Danny Easton and Abundant Life, and Hezekiah Walker. He's a writer and he's a musician. I wanted to showcase that. It was a friend of mine that I wanted to showcase.
So not only are you into music, but now you also into film, which I believe you started that some years ago too. So how did you get into film, and what made you want to go that route?
So just to reiterate, while I was in gospel music, the guy that was in I'm Gospel Music, he started to do a little bit of documentary work for Butch Haywood. That's when I first started touching film. But my cousin was a writer, and he hooked up with my boy John that I was a rapper with. And John, while we were rapping, we ended up, our highest plateau was working with Lance Rivera in entertainment, who was part of Junior Mafia, Biggie, Charlie Baltimore, Little Kim, those people, right? Lance Rivera ended up directing the movie The Cookout with Queen Latifah and Shaquem Compere. As they started to do that, John caught an interest into doing film. I really didn't want to do film. I wanted to do music. Fast forward some years later, John started to do films, and he hit me up. He was like, yo, bro, you should get down with this film stuff. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. And he's like, yo, I'm telling you, once you get bit by this bug, you're going to be in film. So not that I wanted to be in film. I wanted to go assist him and help him out. with whatever he needed to do because you can't do it by yourself. So I went over there and I helped him, and I got bit by the bug. That's why I started to. I was producing, didn't know I was producing. I called myself a producer, and I wasn't a producer. I know I didn't want to touch the camera. I know I didn't want to direct. I know I didn't want to do nothing else. But I started to produce him.
So what was the first film you did?
The first real, we did a bunch of stuff, but the first film that we did was something called South Brooklyn, where it was like a web series.
And I know you have a film that you just did called Love Falling is the Easy Part. Is that still being aired on YouTube for people to see?
No. So we took it down. Love Falling is the Easy Part. I want to say is like the real first feature film that I did. The reason why I say that is because you could say you do film, but you're not really doing film until you put something out and people start to see it. People start to like it, and now you're getting feedback from it. We could put things out, and you really can't call yourself a filmmaker. Like, you're a filmmaker, but I'm a filmmaker because we actually did the thing. We saw it all the way to the end, and we got results. So, Love Falling is the Easy Part was the first film that we put out, and thank God it worked because it was great.
Right. But now, where can somebody see it if they want to see it?
So we took it down. We were at on YouTube. We put it out on January 1st on New Year's. We were up to somewhat of 360,000, 350,000, and we took it down for remastering purposes because we have to remaster it, have to do other things, position ourselves. We're starting to get the phone calls. We're starting to get all of that stuff because they see we're doing numbers. So now people are interested. Who are these guys? Who's Real Block Pictures? Who's Select House Pictures? That's the name of our companies. And yeah.
And you're working on something now, right?
We're in post-production on a film called Flashes.
Right. And I told you I wanted to be in it.
That wasn't for you.
You see?
My inspiration to film was Spike Lee, Mario Van Peebles, Robert Townsend. So if you ask me what producers I would like to work with in life, probably it would be Robert Townsend for what he's done. They call him the Godfather film for Black cinema because he did the first of things. Spike Lee because of the provocative things he's done. We get into a whole bunch of different people. Queen Latifah, Shakim Compierre, even Steve McQueen, Ava DuVernay. There's a lot of people. I've mentioned Black people because that's where I'm at. But I was inspired by Black exploitation films, and I had a cousin that passed away. She won a Tony Award for Raising in the Sun. Her name was Virginia Capers, and she was the star of the family, so to speak. And everybody was like, "Hey, Virginia, hey, Virginia." And as a little kid, my cousin Sarah Khan ended up being her student, which ended up being me and John's mentors. So we've been mentees under Sarah Khan, Lance Rivera, people like that. And Shakim and Queen Latifah was the people that I saw that was like actually there that made it. So when I look at the focus and I get around to it, my passion is going to be probably to hook up with Robert Townsend and try to pick his brain, or Spike Lee. I even did a class at NYU. So, cinematography and production. So yeah, I'm leaning toward that in the future more so, because I can't do it and still have a job. So I'm gonna try and get there.
But David, I want to ask you, what mark do you want to make in life?
What mark? Wow. I just want to be a good parent. I just want to, have children. The mark I want to leave is I want to leave my kids with something that they could be proud of. Show them that they could be good, surviving citizens in America or wherever they want to go. So,
and what are your plans for the future?
I'm probably going to do film.
Okay.
I'm probably going to create content that I want people to see.
This has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much, David, for being a very special guest on the Keiwear Show. We thank you all for tuning in. Please join us for another episode of the Keiwear Show. You can follow me on all social media platforms and on the internet. We'll also have David Quinones information listed on the credits. And we encourage y'all to just come back next week. And always remember that faith is the key to Keiwear. God bless you all.
Hi, my name is Sean Governor Gibbs, and you are watching the Keiwear Show. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Tony Minaj, manager for Lisa and CEO of Minaj Works, Inc., and you're watching the Keiwear Show.
What up, y'all? It's comedian Gerald Kelly from Netflix, HBO Comedy Central, and you're watching the Keiwear Show. You better be watching.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Elaine Sanders from Harlem Girls, Inc., and you're watching the Keiwear Show.
What's good, everybody? It's Barry Alston, the all-around artist. You're watching the Keiwear Show.
Haven't you noticed the climate between cops and citizens? They think we're the problem. I know, all right, I know.
We got Jay.
Tommy is a good cop. He's one of our own.
This is a direct response to all the pain we carry.
What did I do?
Well, since you don't remember, I'm gonna help you out. Tommy, you didn't think he was gonna let him his friend do it.
We just need to talk to him about a few things.
Find him!
Jewel should be the last of your words.
Order in my courtroom now.